South Africa's hospitals struggle to cope as a second wave of coronavirus infections grips the country. Infections have skyrocketed over the festive period, forcing authorities to tighten restrictions. President Cyril Ramaphosa made an emotional plea in a television address where he announced the new measures.
The new year is upon us. Our children will soon be going back to school. Places of learning will soon reopen so that they can resume their studies. We will want to get back to work, to earning, and to looking for work. We want our life to resume. We all have plans and hopes and dreams for 2021.
Shortly after Christmas, South Africa officially passed 1 million cases of COVID-19, the highest number in Africa. The rise in infections has been, in part, driven by a new strain of the virus that's believed to be more contagious. The new requirements include some familiar old measures, including a ban on alcohol sales. Mask wearing has also been made mandatory in public. Police are turning back swimmers and surfers on beaches, despite grumbles from holidaygoers. Officials were also on the streets in Johannesburg to enforce a 9 p.m. curfew. But small business owners are worried about their income, as the IMF projects the economy will have shrunk by 8% in 2020.
As for us, in terms of business, it isn't good because by this time we would have been full by this time, customers coming in, and then obviously we are observing the 50% capacity. Yeah, but now it's slightly lesser than that, because everybody's scared. Everyone wants to go home at exactly 8 o'clock. They want to make sure that by 9 o'clock they're at home due to the curfew.
There is also widespread anger amid reports that plaguing government corruption reached to a coronavirus relief package.
The government hasn't given sufficient support for workers, for industries that are affected by it. So as much as I support the safety, I also criticize the government for not having planned and being so corrupt before the virus that they did not use that money to save us.
Covid-19 has claimed more than 27,500 lives in South Africa, the highest death toll on the continent. Central Africans went to the polls to elect a new president and parliament on December the 27th. Ballot counting is underway after a campaign dominated by violence between government and rebel forces. More than a third of the country's districts could not take part in the presidential and legislative elections, according to official figures. In many areas, militia groups intimidated voters and thousands were prevented from reaching polling stations. In the capital, Bangui, voting occurred peacefully.
They said we shouldn't vote, but we already voted. It makes us feel good. We're happy. I've already voted and I'm going home now.
I'm not worried because I've prepared for a long time to come and vote. We've suffered so much, and that's why I'm here early in the morning, so I can contribute to the improvement of our country.
Violence persisted after the vote, with an attack on a bus killing an employee of humanitarian group Doctors Without Borders. Despite these events, the government and the UN are saying that their bet of holding the vote has paid off. The Central African Republic has seen a string of coups and wars since independence from France in 1960. The country was plunged into turmoil again in 2013, when the Seleka rebel group overthrew then-President François Bozizé, who had himself seized power a decade earlier. Ruling party the United Hearts movement claimed Thursday that President Faustin Touadéra was on track for an outright win in the first round. He won an election in 2016 after a turbulent transition following the coup. But militia groups that emerged from the conflict in 2013 controlled 2/3 of the territory. Provisional results are expected from January the 4th. Vote counting is underway in Niger after the country's presidential and parliamentary elections, which also took place on December the 27th. Outgoing President Mahamadou Issoufou's chosen successor, former Foreign Minister Mohamed Bazoum, is comfortably leading, according to partial results. He has won more than 500,000 in a first batch of 1.2 million ballots. Bazoum's closest rival among 29 other contenders is former President Mahaman Ousmane with 168,000 votes. These were historic elections as Niger heads for its first ever peaceful handover between presidents since independence, even if it is between candidates of the same party.
C'est aussi et surtout un jour spécial pour le Niger. Pour le Niger.
It is also, and above all, a special day for Niger, which is going to experience, for the first time in its history, a democratic transition. I hope that this first democratic transition will be a foundation stone for other transitions to consolidate our democratic process.
Pour d'autres alternances afin de consolider notre processus démocratique.
Issoufou has served 2 full terms, the maximum allowed by the constitution. Campaigning has been overshadowed by the issue of security. Niger is under constant threat from Boko Haram in the east and other jihadist groups from the Sahel.
The main problem is that there is a lot of insecurity in the country. I used to live 30 kilometers away, but I can't go there by motorbike anymore, so we can't say we're safe.
According to the UN, 250 people were killed in 2019, and around 260 schools have been forced to close in areas where there is unrest.